Hello there and welcome to this week's Owl Diary. Hello, Ryan here from Owl Adventures, and I'm at Castle Howard, which is in North Yorkshire, a wonderful venue, massive amount of landscape here for a rather miscellaneous booking. We're here with a couple of our Harris Hawks to do some filming for Shine TV. Shine, a well-known reputable company who make programmes for many of the mainstream channels, and they've actually been here for about 6 weeks. They've got a number of marquees that they have for their costume and makeup and props and so on, and we are providing a hawk flight to one of the cast members' hands as part of the scene they're filming today, and it's one of the last days they're here. I've been talking to various producers, people with the props, and I must say these things are done rather seriously. I've had many emails over the last few weeks asking everything you can imagine about what we can provide and how it's done, the health and safety of it. There's even a very strict COVID procedure as well. So this morning I had to have a COVID test and wait 2 hours for that to come back, and luckily it was of course negative, so I'm just waiting around now to do the filming. Of course, anyone who regularly does any filming work, whether they're a cast member or a producer or someone providing teas and coffees, they'll say that today's filming is not as glamorous as it may look or seem. It's very much a lot of waiting around. So I'm now into my 4th or 5th hour waiting. The birds on perches around the corner, and I'm just waiting to actually do the filming a little bit later on this afternoon. Look, we've got lovely weather for it. Now, it's not the first time we've done anything for TV. We've certainly done things before. We did something about 4 years ago for Psycho, that company that Simon Cowell owns, for something for ITV with this type of owl, a great grey owl, but that's a story for another day. And we, of course, did the One Show back in late 2015, where I had to tether various different species of owls to the visitors' gloves and then sit there and talk about owls in the wild in Great Britain. And luckily that went really well. None of the birds tried flying about, baiting or causing any other mischief while they were sat in those people's hands, because of course those guests, the actors and various people who were there, they weren't experienced handlers. But luckily it went absolutely fine. So the scene today with the hawk is going to be set in the late 19th century, which means that we can't show on camera anything modern, like the telemetry, for example. So it's going to be lots of clever trickery with the camera angles and things like that. They don't even want a shot of the bait that the bird will be flying for. Our hawks are very visual, and they will fly to people's hands when there's no food present, because they think they might get something, but they're far more likely to do it, much more of a guarantee, if we actually have the food there. So there's going to be some semantics involved with today's shoot, but it should be good fun. We've got a good hour or so to get it right, and that's why I brought 2 hawks, so we've got a spare and we can experiment, a bit of trial and error and things like that. Right, I'm going to sit back in the van, have some tea, and let you know how the filming goes a bit later on in this Owl Diary. Keep watching. Well, I've just been brought lunch from the catering tent, as it were. I've gone for buffalo chicken. These may look like they're plastic to you, but they're not. They're these biodegradable ones, as is the carton. I've not looked at it yet. Shall we have a look together? Ooh, that's not bad, is it? This is the great thing, you see, about when you do film shoots or TV work or something a bit fancier. And I say it's not glamorous. The weddings we do are very glamorous because you get to wear a suit and it's a lovely event, all posh and pretty and glamorous. But having said that, oh, it smells good. I'm going to enjoy this. Right, lunchtime it is for me. So I've just got back from the day of filming. I've just put the birds away. The set where we were actually filming it was a bit breezy, so that was one reason why I didn't want to do the end bit of this part of the vlog there, but also there were lots of cameramen around and staff members, and I have signed a non-disclosure agreement, so I'm not allowed to mention the programme that's been made, the name of it, things like that. But what I will tell you is it's going to be first aired in America, and then will probably be aired in Great Britain, maybe on Sky TV or Netflix or something or other, and I'll find out as the time comes. The great thing is that the person on set, on the camera, when they had the hawk fly to them, it was actually Roland who did it, our 4.5-year-old Harris Hawk, and he does actually mention Roland's name in the scene as well. So Roland is in the shoot, if you like, in the feature, playing himself. And I have a feeling that it will be viewed by many thousands, if not millions of people. So Roland, he might be a little bit famous by the end of that. But no, it's been really, really good. And the director actually said, you know what, I need your number, because normally we have animals in shoots that don't always do what you want, whereas Roland performed absolutely perfectly, flying to the gentleman's hand. I will, of course, when I'm allowed to, let you know more about that programme and mention that we have been part of it when it's released, I don't know, later this year or next year. But either way, it was a really fun day. Lots of fun to be on a set like that and just do something a little bit different. Right, please enjoy the rest of this week's vlog. I'm going to go sit to that noisy falcon. Well, it's that part of the weekly Owl Diary for the falconry term of the week.
The falconry term of the week.
So this week's falconry term is the word pellet. Now, when a bird of prey eats its prey, it will eat the feathers, the bones, as well as the protein, the meat, you know, the other parts of the body and all the blood inside as well. And all those different parts produce different nutrients that the bird needs for its health. But what they do in digestion is rather different to mammals, for example, because not everything goes through in one direction. In fact, pellets are like this little thing here. This is a small pellet from the barn owl, and it's made up of the bone and fur of a mouse. And this is what the birds will regurgitate, usually once a day. Essentially, the digestive system will filter through all the nutrients that they pull from the feathers, like the fibre, bones from the calcium, and what's left, the dry things that are hard to digest, get squished together in a little ball like this, and the bird will regurgitate it, usually one a day. And it is possible to study pellets, take them apart, and you can usually reconstruct the skeleton inside and determine exactly what the bird's been eating. And this is something that's practiced in schools, and scientists do it, and people who are doing surveys on wild owls under the birds of prey, because they can actually determine what the birds are eating mostly. For example, barn owls, they may learn, are eating mostly 80% short-tailed voles, and this can help with work when helping to keep their numbers in good levels. So it's all about understanding the wild birds as well as understanding just what they are eating. So there we go, that's this week's falconry term of the week, the word pellet. Well, I'm back in the aviary block and I'm here with Dusty, the dark-breasted barn owl. She's about 2.5 years old now. She's a very tame bird and quite likes a bit of attention, to be honest, probably the most out of all the birds we have. So we're having a really busy October. The weekends are especially intense with the different displays and bookings. The weekdays a little bit easier. Some days we're out on display, some days we're just here at the farm doing a bit of flying, a bit of feeding, a bit of cleaning, the usual kind of maintenance we have to do as we begin to prepare for the moving of the aviaries and also the moving of the snake room. So I have been this week beginning to take apart the snake room. The snakes and other reptiles and creepy crawlies are in a different venue at the moment, just keeping warm and safe and sound while we're moving them across. So lots of timber to deal with and redesigns going on, and I will fill you in on more detail of that a bit later on this month and this year. But the weekends have been busy and the flying displays at Farmer Copley's have been going really well. I mentioned last week it's a slightly unusual sort of venue in a way for flying displays. It's not the usual open arena. Instead, we're on a stage, which is essentially a truck, and it's all lovely decorated. We've been flying the barn owl, the Harris Hawk, but also Henrietta. And in this clip here, you can see her flying up to the beam on the side there. And she's been doing that in the flying display, up and down, up and down. That's actually really good exercise for her, because she's having to climb up what is about 8 or 9 feet up and down. And for a big lazy owl like Henrietta, we're doing quite well. We've seen her get more active actually recently. I remember her in the flying shows a couple of years ago. She was quite slow and lazy, more so than my other large owls, and that's not unusual for a large owl. They don't fly unless they really need to. And she's at flying weight, but she's not at starving weight, so she's kind of thinking, well, I could fly for the food, but I'm not really that bothered. I'll just walk around a bit. So I'm really pleased with her. She's been doing really, really well. We've had a few rescue bits and pieces recently, nothing particularly successful, unfortunately. We did help on the phone about a kestrel that was found injured and give some advice. And just earlier this week, we did actually have a tawny owl brought in. But as you can see from this clip I can show you here, the injury it sustained was so bad that it would not have any chance of being recuperated and be released back into the wild again. So unfortunately, that had to be taken taken to the vet to be put down. Just such a shame, really. And of course, these owls do fly very close to cars and lorries and even trains, and this unfortunately is too often an occurrence. We've also had some new subscribers. Thank you recently if you have subscribed. It's been really good to see the numbers going up slowly but surely on this channel. And I'd like to say hi to a couple of people. I'd like to say hi to Jason. He actually helped us out with the Tawny Owls, so thank you for your help there, Jason. He's helped us out over the years on many occasions. A really lovely guy. And I'd like to say hi to Freddie, who I know has been watching all of the Owl Diaries in order and then backwards again, and is learning lots of the falconry terms as well, which is really good. So you'll be educated as a falconer in no time at all, Freddie. But thank you for watching. We do make these videos for people to enjoy, so I'm glad you're enjoying them. Right then, let's get on with the day, Dusty, shall we? As always, thank you for watching, and keep an eye on the channel for future videos. Bye for now.